Hello everyone, I'm here in ArduBlock and I'm ready to get us started on coding our button. Before doing that, I would just like to remind you to go to the Arduino window and to check and make sure that your board and port are both appropriately selected. So keep in mind that if you're using a Barnabas noggin, you should be using the Arduino Nano board. Alright. Now that that's out of the way, I would like you guys to go into the Controls tab and look for the block that says If Else. I'm going to drag that and drop it right into the loop do. Alright, so we're going to need this block today and through a good portion of our class. We're going to be using this here and there. This is what's known as Conditional Logic. So essentially, as you can see, the If Else block has three places that you can place code. It has a test portion, it has a then portion, and an else portion. So how this block works is we put some sort of condition in test. And the test is going to check and see if that condition is true or false. And then it's going to pick only one of these sections, the then or the else section, to run. So for example, if the code or if the condition in the test section is true, it will run whatever's in the then section of code, and if it is false, it will run whatever is in the else section of code. So just as a reminder, the way we've wired up our button, we've set it as an input to pin 2. So if we ask whether or not pin 2 is high or low, we can ascertain whether our button has been pressed or not. We also have our LED hooked up to pin 7, just as a reminder. So here's what I want to do now. I would like to go to the Tests tab, and I'm looking for a specific block in here. These are all sorts of inequalities or equations, things of that nature, that are essentially going to be a condition. We want a specific one. We want this one here that has this double equal sign and then the two circles on either side of it. So the double equal sign is important, and you see it in coding a lot. This is an inquiry. So rather than saying this thing is equal to this thing, so whatever's on this side is equal to the other side, the double equal sign is inquiring. It's asking, are these two things equal? So obviously, if that's the question it's asking, the statement can either be true or false. Either yes, these two things are equal, and the then section of the code will run, or no, they're not equal, and the else section of the code will run. So now we just have to figure out how to populate these two empty holes here. And to do that, we're going to go straight into pins. We're going to take this digital pin block here at the top, not the set digital pin, just the digital pin. So what this is going to do is this is just going to check the state of this digital pin. So for us, it's pin 2 where our button is. So it's just going to check and say, hey, is this high or is it low? And then we can go into variables constants. And we want to grab either a low or a high, although remember you can just change whether it's high or low. So we're going to put this in here. And then we're going to ask ourselves, is this the condition we want? Do we want it to ask, is the button high? Or do we want it to ask, is the button low? So let's think back. I know maybe you've forgotten since the last video where I explained the button as an input, that circuit, very briefly. But remember that if the button has not been pushed, we have a high signal going to pin 2. So if the button has not been pushed, that is, let's see, high. So let's go ahead and do this. We'll say, all right, what if the button has been pushed? So the test is asking, has the button been pushed yet? Is the button currently pressed down? So if the answer is yes, it will run the then section of the code. So what I'm going to try to do with the rest of this if-else block is just recreate the conditions, or not the conditions, I'm sorry, recreate the behavior that we had before in our old circuit that just had the LED and the button in the same circuit together. So in other words, if I press the button, I would like to see the light turn on, and if the button is not pressed, I would like to see the light turn off. Simple enough. So this condition is asking, has the button been pressed yet? If the answer is yes, I would like to turn on my LED. So I would like to say 7 high, because the LED is on pin 7. Elsewise, if the button is not currently pressed, I still want to affect pin 7 because that is where our LED is still, but I would like it to turn off. So this should give us the same sort of behavior as our old button/LED circuit. Let's go ahead and upload it. I'm going to say cancel here. I don't want that. Let's hope it uploads appropriately. All right, awesome. So let's check it out. All right, so the code's been uploaded. Let's just check the behavior of this circuit really quick. So off when I'm not pressing the button, as expected. If I do press the button, the light does turn on. Awesome. All right, let's move on.